pipes that allow you to go to the depth that is convenient for you for immersion. You see only the corner of the pool. Most of it is there. It's there behind under the trees. And they're all locked.
They have an excavator that way. Yeah, you said that.
It's under the trees. The pool is this is just the entrance steps to the. All of this under the all of this under the trees is the pool.
So the people who were coming from the tunnel are coming from there. Okay, they're coming from there. I want to remind you that when Hezekiah gave the order to make the tunnel, he sent two crews, one from the spring and one from the place that will become the pool. And they met in the middle, which is in itself an amazing thing. Without the GPS that we have, without all the measures that we have to create a tunnel, that you would say, okay, they made it straight. They did not make it straight, it's the shape of a double S. They met in the middle, we find there is a discrepancy of about 2 feet. That means at the end they were listening to the sound and they directed themselves to correct. But imagine, it's not just making a tunnel, it's keeping the level of the ground in such a way that the water flows in the right direction. If you make it too steep, the tunnel will be flooded. Not steep enough, the water will not move. So these are the kind of things that we have a lot of explanation, which means we don't have a good one. It's a really something very amazing, outstanding feat of engineering. Doing that in the 8th century BC, that's not something simple. So that tunnel, but remember, from the tunnel depended, from the water depended the life of the people at that time. Again, the moment they will turn off the water in your city and your tap will be dry, you will see havoc happening.
Yes.
We're so used to turn the tap and have water. Imagine, for some reason, it is shut. Imagine the world's first supermarkets and other places that have mineral water, and when the mineral water is finished, now you will see the battle for the water. Because you can stay hungry for a long time, but not thirsty for a long time. And so the water, all the efforts are nothing compared to the importance of the water. So the water arrived in kind of a low area, created a kind of a pond. Later it was rebuilt to make it a big pool. Look at that. That is Second Temple period. At the time of Jesus, people have forgotten the story of the tunnel, and they believed that the pool of Shiloah was built on the spring. That's why the water was always new there. People did not know of the tunnel. Look, we understood the word of Hezekiah only afterwards, backwards, like we do with prophecy and a lot of things. Only after you know the answer, then you start to read backwards and say, oh, it's written here. It's not so clear. For centuries, people did not know there was a tunnel, although Hezekiah speaks of it. But in such a way that if we don't know that it exists, we don't understand that. Only in the 19th century that Charles Warren and his peers, who were looking for a lot of things, found that a small pool that still existed there is by the mosque just behind. They found there was a channel. I think it was a child who ventured inside and told the people that there is a passage. And they went inside a tunnel, and they found halfway in that tunnel, they found an inscription engraved in the stone. What did the inscription say? It described the meeting of the two crews. And it says the length of the tunnel, the number of cubits above their heads, everything is calculated. That's an amazing thing. Wow. Imagine the moment where they hear, you are digging and you don't know if you are in the right direction, and then all of a sudden you hear noise from another crew. That must be, remember when any tunnel, even today with all the technology, where a lot of festivities when the two sides of the tunnel meet. Imagine that. In England and France, remember that? That was on the news, in the TV, and the people kissed each other, despite the fact there was no chance of making a mistake. So imagine these, but the happiness that they felt when they found it, and it's written in inscription. What happened to the inscription? Warren cut it off, the rock, because it was not added, it was just carved on the rock. They cut the piece of the rock, and they eventually gave it to the Ottoman, and it's still today there in Istanbul. It's in Istanbul. There were talk recently, as the Turks are trying to please us all of a sudden, we don't know why, of maybe Israel asking this inscription to be back here. There are chances that it will happen. Hopefully, I hope it will. So the inscription is in ancient Hebrew. Everything fits and mention the work of the construction of that tunnel. Really amazing. So in the time of Jesus, that is already a big pool. Remember that street that we saw this morning? The street that was covered by the debris of the temple, Main Street? It ends here. It ends here. We can now, if we could and had the time, we could go on that street back to Davidson Center. We can. Part of it on the pavement and the rest in the sewage system. Because at some places there's not enough depth and there are already houses. So the continuation continues in the, it's not just sewers. That street was built in the valley. So when you have rain, it becomes a river. And you don't want a river in the main street, so they create a big channel underneath. And we know that from Josephus Flavius, some of the people tried to escape through these channels, but the Romans found them most of the time. In this channel, they found pomegranates of gold that was used as a veil at the bottom, at the hem of the garment of the priest. So one of them, the one you saw in the picture, was found there. That means not only regular people, priests, everyone try to escape through these tunnels. So you want to sit down one moment?
Yes, I'm going to read a little bit.
Now we have a room. Let's go and have a lecture. That will be a good thing. Or lecture, no, teaching.
Reading.
A reading.
And a little bit of commentary thrown in for good measure.